Hey, what's up? It's Randy, and this right here is the Boya BY-DM500 dynamic broadcast microphone. First and foremost, a big thanks to the team at Boya for sending this over to me to review. Just a heads up, they're not paying me to make this video, and these thoughts are all my own and all that good stuff. It's just me and you here. Hey. Before we even get this plugged in here, I want to say this is heavy. There's some good mass to this thing. All right, let's take a listen to this thing for the first time here. Check, check, check. Let me go ahead and solo this. Check, check, check. Hey, 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 hey. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. So I've got these gain matched as best I can. There's a shotgun microphone just out of frame here. Check, check, check. Right now you're listening to this mic, and we'll switch back to the shotgun microphone just out of frame. So they're pretty much gain matched here. Check, check, check. Yeah, levels look pretty similar. Initial thoughts here. I gotta say, so far, I'm really impressed with this microphone. This mic goes for $100 US, which puts it kind of at the bottom end of the broadcast microphone spectrum. We'll get into some other comparables in just a minute, but my initial thoughts are that it sounds quite good, I think, unless my ears are just deceiving me. This is, again, my shotgun microphone, just comparing, getting a little sample here. We'll go back to this guy. Yeah, this sounds pretty good. Now, in my experience with these cheaper microphones, one of two things will always be true. Either one, the microphone sound is objectively awful. Like 10 out of 10 people would say that microphone doesn't sound very good. Or number two is that the build quality is awful. And when I pulled this thing out of the box, I grabbed it and it was heavy and hefty, and the threading on it felt really nice, and the input felt really nice, and it's just a big heavy metal cage. I thought this microphone is gonna sound like garbage, but it doesn't. Maybe I'm missing something here, but this sounds pretty darn good to me for $100. The only negative that I will say about the build quality is these little fixtures on the side here. These threadings on either side are plastic. I don't know why they went all metal for the rest of the cage, but these screws, these little thumb screws, are plastic. If you're the type that likes to grab your mic and move it around while you're doing a podcast or whatever, just be mindful that those will probably strip before anything else. Other than that, though, and I mean, you could replace those, but yeah, other than that, it seems pretty darn good. Also, it doesn't seem to be nearly as gain hungry as something like an SM7B. So right now my gain is set, I'll switch to my shotgun mic. This is my shotgun mic, and I'm set at 39 decibels of gain. And this is gain matched as best I can, and I'm set at 46 decibels of gain. So about 7 more decibels of gain, which really isn't too bad for a dynamic microphone like this. Well, actually, let me grab an SM58 because we all know what that sounds like. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the SM58, and I'm going to switch to the Boya microphone right now. This is the Boya BY-DM500 microphone. We're going to switch back to the SM58. Check, check, check. This is the SM58, which we all know and love. It's kind of that classic dynamic sound. I might have noticed that when I switched to the Boya, it's a little bit honky, but I think a little bit of EQ could fix that quite well, like in that sort of 500, 600, 700 hertz range. If you just cut that down, I bet that would fix that. And for a control, let's switch back to the shotgun microphone, which is just out of frame here. So this is what a $1,000 shotgun microphone sounds like, and we'll switch back to this $100 microphone, 1/10 the cost of the shotgun that you're just listening to. I'm pretty impressed. With a cardioid microphone, one of the best features of that is that it's going to have amazing rejection from the back. So that's going to help if you're recording a podcast to isolate from other guests who may be in the room, or if you're a streamer, it's going to help with like keyboard sounds or noisy spaces. Actually, let me check the keyboard sounds right now. I think I got my top-down camera here going. So this is a standard Apple keyboard here, and we're just going to go ahead and type. This is me talking and typing and talking. Check, check, check. Hey, hey, and talking. On the bottom side here, we have a standard 3-pin XLR connection, and because it's a dynamic microphone, you don't need any phantom power or any batteries or anything like that. It just runs straight off the XLR. Okay, so let's talk about where this microphone sits within the lineup, and then we'll get into some more sound comparisons. Now, as I mentioned, at $100, this is a really inexpensive dynamic broadcast mic. We have our top tier competitors like the SM7B and the Audio-Technica BP40, which you've seen tons of streamers and podcasters use. Those sit around $349. Then we have sort of like the mid-tier mics like the BY-DM500, the Elgato Wave 3, and the Go XLR, which are all around the $150 price point. And then scooting down just a little bit, we have this mic at $99, and its competitors would be the Rode Pod mic, the Audio-Technica AT2040, and I will happily do a video shooting out against some of those competitors as well. Okay, next up, I want to see how well this windscreen is actually working. Love to know if you could get away without it, because sometimes it really affects the sound. So here's without the windscreen. Check, check, check. Hey, hey. It actually, I am getting a little bit of plosives, I guess. Plosive, It does sound significantly better with it off, though. Check, check, check. Hey, hey. Check, check, check. Hey, hey. Yeah, it's a little more muffled. Definitely love to swap this out for a pop filter. I think you might get a bit better results with like a professional pop filter. And there's a couple other tests that we can run here. One is an axis test. So we know this is a cardioid microphone. So as I go over to the side, we should start to lose that sound quite significantly. And I'll move back to right in front of it. And we'll kind of come over to this side. Check, 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 check. Hey, hey. About 90 degrees from the capsule right now. And back to the front. And a little bit of proximity versus kind of getting away. Because it's dynamic, you're probably going to lose a lot of sound as I get further off of it. Obviously sounds the best being right on this mic. So if you're using this for streaming, you're going to want to be right on it. You just get way better sound. Okay, one other test that I would love to do is like a self-noise test to see what the operating level is at speaking volume. I'm going to normalize this section in post to -23 LUFS, and then I'm going to record some silence, and we want to see that silence sitting below -60. If it's below -60, that would be a pretty good noise level at speaking volume. But let's go ahead and do some more audio samples. We'll do some music samples, some guitar, and some singing.
So take the risk and make the fall, even if the jump is steep, 'cause you can't be standing still if you got 2 feet.
I gotta say, I am totally impressed with this. This microphone being $100 is kind of crazy. There's a couple things that I'd like to see a bit of improvement on. I'm getting a little bit of plosives even with this on. I might sub this out for a thicker foam windscreen. I think you might get a bit better results there. Overall, the tone of it seems pretty good. Maybe a little bit honky, as I mentioned, in that sort of 500 to 700 hertz range. I really like how you can play with the proximity on this microphone. So who is this microphone for? I would say that this is a really solid entry-level microphone for podcasters or streamers, people who want better quality than their headset microphone or something like that. This is going to be a huge step up to that. I'm not sure how it competes to like the Shure SM7B or the Audio-Technica BP40, but we can definitely test that out in another video. I'd love to hear the differences between them. But overall, this microphone standing on its own legs sounds pretty good to me.